What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw 4 TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Aram for the $10 donation. Once again, showing love to True Raw for TV, aka True Raw for Sports, also known as True Raw Media. Once again, showing love to the channel, and he leaves a note. He says, I am on many basketball discussion channels. The recent trend is that Larry Bird is the greatest small forward of all time. And this is coming from young guys and reaction videos. Why is he so popular? And why doesn't Wilt get the same respect, along with Elgin Baylor? Lack of YouTube vids? Thanks, Mike. Well, I think it's a couple of reasons why Wilt doesn't get a lot of love. Baylor, a lot of those guys, but Bird is getting a lot of love now, and his stock is rising. Some of it has to do with the fact that there is a lot more footage of Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like with Wilt Chamberlain, it's really just highlights of him dunking. As we see today with a guy like Giannis, whose game is based more on athleticism, the guy can score 50-some points, and there's barely a blip registered on social media, on sports blogs, It's almost like it's not it's not how many points you score, it's how you score them. Whereas a guy who is more of an outside shooter is perceived as harder or more skill involved. You know what I mean? So that's definitely part of it, the lack of highlights that the older guys have, Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor, as opposed to Larry Bird, who has a lot more highlights, a lot more game footage. He's more recent, so the assumption is that he's more skilled because he, come from a more recent era than those guys did in the past. A lot of the people who are watching sports, all right? Even older people obviously watched him play. I think some of it is also the influence of YouTubers like myself and others who watch some of these guys play. Me, unfortunately, I only watched Bird toward the end of his career, but I had enough common sense to know that he was not the same player that he had been in his prime. So education is part of it as well. I think that's a testament to us doing a pretty good job preaching about some of the players of the past. At least some of the ones they can relate to. I think another part of it is Larry Bird's game is very relevant to and relevant to the game, the way the game is played today. Now, I think Bird's stock went down, I'd say about 15 to 20 years ago, when the game became more predicated on athleticism. Athleticism was not Larry Bird's strong suit. Back then, when the scores were lower, it was more of a physical game. And it was more important for players to have, because the spacing wasn't the same. You still had the traditional bigs down low. So it was more about being able to beat your man one-on-one. So it was important to have foot speed. It was important to have that first step, to have, like I said, athleticism, to get any type of physical advantage you could get. That was not Larry Bird's strong suit. But the way the game is played now, more predicated on quote-unquote skill, being able to shoot the basketball, free throw shooting. When you look at Larry Bird's skill set, it's more suited for today's game. He was a great passer, great rebounder, great mid-range shooter, very good outside shooter, could score in the post, which is something that Kevin Durant doesn't do very well. Not only could Bird score in the post, Bird could score with his back to the basket, which is something that KD really can't do. So when you look at his skill set, it's no wonder that he has a lot of fans. If you really look at how he played basketball, there's no doubt in my mind. Now, the one thing that he wasn't phenomenal at was his ball handling. But he wasn't awful. And I'm pretty sure if he played today, his ball handling would probably be improved. You know what I'm saying? Was he a great defender? No. Is that important today? Apparently not. You have guys like Luka Doncic who don't even play defense, really. And there's no knock. There's no knock on them. You know, a lot of these guys today don't play defense, and really nobody cares. So I think that's part of it. Plus, I'm going to say this. You know what I mean? Because I'm a person that keeps it 100% real. It helps, to a certain extent, that Bird is white. It helps. I'm not saying that it makes anybody racist. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that people tend to want to root for someone they can relate to. That's why I don't think there's any problem with, people who are from the Philippines. They root for Manny Pacquiao because that's a guy they can relate to. He's one of their own. Just like black people love Muhammad Ali. Not that they had a problem with Rocky Marciano or problem with, any particular fighter they fought, but Muhammad Ali was a guy that they felt pride for. Same thing with Joe Louis in Black America. Just like Italian Americans, like I said, love Rocky Marciano, who I just mentioned. They love Rocky Marciano. You know what I mean? I believe Mickey Walker was Irish, the boxer. So they love Mickey Walker. Irish Americans could relate to him. It's not a issue of making it about race, but it's just it's natural. So there are probably a lot of young, white males who really don't have much to root for in basketball right now, outside of maybe as far as stars, Doncic, right? But when you see Larry Bird, it's like, man, this guy was unbelievable. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense that, he's had a renewed popularity, and I'm glad of that because of the fact that he is one of the greats. And while when it comes to longevity, LeBron is in a whole nother level and can't be touched. But when it comes peak to peak, I think Larry Bird was better, man. Larry Bird was better, especially considering the fact that Bird had to play with the likes of two other Hall of Famers on his team. That being Robert Parrish. Actually, three other Hall of Famers. Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, and Kevin McHale. He had to share the basketball with these guys. So imagine if Bird was putting up 24, 10, and 6, with Dennis Johnson being the point guard. Imagine if Larry Bird had the ball in his hands and run the offense exclusively through him more in his career. His numbers would be even crazier. You know what I'm saying? His numbers, especially his assist numbers, would be crazy. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it. That's my opinion. Tell me what you guys think, though.